Hey, good morning. I'm Patricia Murphy. It's Friday. This is Seattle Now. This week, it is noisy in this city. Just ask the people in line at Mariners games or near our local pickleball courts. Speaking of the Mariners, it seems they've been using a little bit of witchy magic to keep their playoff hopes alive. And how bad is your local grocery store parking lot? Come on now. We've got the details on the worst ones in Seattle. Seattle Met's Naomi Tomky and KUOW's Zaki Hamid are here to break down the week. But first, let's get you caught up. The Seattle City Council will likely vote today on the city's comprehensive plan. It's a roadmap that will guide where housing will get built and determine the density of different neighborhoods for the next decade. A select committee has been working through changes to the comp plan all week. They're expected to approve it during today's meeting, which begins at 2 o'clock. The incoming class at the University of Washington will be welcomed this Sunday for the annual New Student Convocation. New UW President Robert J. Jones will lead the ceremony inside Alaska Airlines Arena. The university expects thousands of students, family members, and friends to attend. The University District is already flooded with wide-eyed freshmen. Doors open at 10 a.m. Convocation begins at 11. The first day of class for UW students is Wednesday. And Amazon goes on trial Monday in a lawsuit filed by the Federal Trade Commission. The company is accused of allegedly enrolling millions of customers in Prime memberships without telling them and making it hard to cancel. The suit was filed 2 years ago under the Biden administration. Amazon has denied any wrongdoing. The case is being heard in a federal courtroom here in Seattle. Check back for more headlines on tonight's episode of Seattle Now. It's Friday again. Hope you're doing okay this week. Naomi Tomky's here. She's Seattle Met's food and drink editor. Hey, Naomi, welcome back.
Hi, Trish. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, Zaki Hamid is here, too. He's KUOW's Director of Community Engagement. Hey, Zaki.
Hey, happy to be here.
Yeah, glad you are here. All right, we don't need any warm-up. Let's dive right into the big story this week. There's a lot of noise out there these days, and Seattle is no exception. This first story will come as no surprise to Seattle Mariners fans. The park is asking customers for feedback about the very loud street preachers that have set up outside the ballpark. You've seen them outside Mariners or Seahawks games, big concerts even, maybe even Pike Place Market. This is not a new tactic. It is not just a Seattle thing. Is this something you just expect when you're heading to a game or a big event? Is this just the audio landscape, or does it go beyond the pale?
I mean, it certainly stands out. It's a lot louder than anything else that's going on. And also, I've never had to explain the details of why a guy is selling hot dogs to my children. But I mean, it's all sort of par for the course. We live in a city, and that comes with its ups and its downs.
What do you say, Zeki?
Yeah, I go to Mariners games a lot. It's just background noise to me at this point. I just kind of expect it. I'll be honest, what I'm wondering about is what would compel somebody to go stand outside and just shout like this, for however long. And I'm just wondering, what do they expect? Like, you're just going to have conversions all of a sudden? I'm going to walk, I'm like, that's it. I'm switching to Christianity now. You have convinced me. I just don't understand what their mentality is. But seriously, I really don't care. Like Naomi said, we live in a city. To me, that's just background noise. They're just shouting. My kid has definitely asked me, it's like, what's that all about? I was like, I don't know. People just shouting about things they believe in. Why? I don't know. Let's just go have a good time.
Sure. I wonder if that guy goes home with, ringing ears at the end of the day.
Do you think he talks like that all the time?
Well, maybe he shouts because he can't hear well anymore, honestly.
What do you want for dinner tonight?
Seriously, next time you go, please report back to me if that street preacher is wearing earplugs. A Mariner spokesperson spoke at the public ballpark management meeting recently and says there's lots of noise outside the parks. People have speakers on their pedicabs. There are buskers out there. They're not trying to censor the type of speech the preachers are using. They're pointing out just the volume. And honestly, if somebody was standing out with a bullhorn reading the Seattle Times, I'd probably be annoyed too. So Seattle Times dug into the ear-splitting data. City law says the commercial limit for noise is 60 decibels, and a July report from Fox 13 showed the decibel levels from a preacher's megaphone above 120 decibels. The Mariners have been asking fans to complete a ballpark noise survey at home games recently. What else could people say? I love it. I
What
want.
do
I mean,
the
are they
Mariners
just trying to
want
get
out
the
of that?
how
Like-
much do we dislike it?
I mean, are they going to use that as an excuse to say we don't, we're not going to allow that? I don't know if they even can. I mean, it's a public space and they're doing their thing.
Well, Mariners
Right?
fan
Or-
blog Lookout Landing says the team is working to get a bill in front of the Seattle City Council.
Oh,
So maybe they're
really?
just trying to gather what they
Some info,
need
maybe, yeah.
to present it to the council and say this is a menace to our.
I'd be really interested to see if people are actually annoyed by it or if it's just background noise.
Yeah, I mean, would I prefer that it wasn't going on? Probably. Do I care? And we got to pick our battles
Yeah.
here, and that's
And also, to my sound sensitive people, show up prepared maybe with some noise canceling headphones. All right. The other noisy story we're talking about today also has to do with sports. Our official state sport is also one of the most annoying, pickleball. Seattle Parks officials have shortened the hours at 3 outdoor racket courts after receiving repeated complaints about loud pickleball playing. It used to be that you could just play pickleball all day long. The parks were open from 4 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. or 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Who meets for a 4 a.m. pickleball game?
old people.
Oh,
They don't sleep. They love pickleball.
I'm an early riser, so maybe as I get older, I'm just going to be one of those people who wants to show up at 4 a.m. because, Lord, that's my schedule.
You're awake. The pickleball courts are empty.
Should you be subject to the court of public opinion if you show up that early?
See, I have a bone to pick with pickleball. I can't stand the sport. It's too noisy. I hate that kind of noise. So this is me being like this, old man shouting at clouds type thing. In our neighborhood, they bought a piece of land and they're going to develop it into a public park. And it's lovely. We were like, oh, great. Maybe we can put some swings and stuff like that for the kids. And so I show up to a meeting where they have several proposals. And one of the proposals had a pickleball court. And I was like, oh, no, over my dead body. There's going to be a pickleball court in this neighborhood. It's like, and people asking why. I'm like, do you want to hear this clicking sound day in and day out and night and day and all? So now I'm probably known in the neighborhood as this, crotchety old man who just hates pickleball.
There are definitely people in your neighborhood are secretly applauding you, Zeki. I guarantee it that you stood up for a lot of neighbors that night. But I have to say, this is a problem we can solve. USA Pickleball has certified a quiet racket called the OWL. It's supposed to reduce the noise by 50%.
There you go.
It was invented in Oak Bay, up there in Vancouver, right here in the PNW. The OWL paddle is a quieter pickleball paddle designed to reduce noise pollution. It was developed in response to complaints, Zeki, from neighbors about the loud pop sound of traditional pickleball paddles. The fact that Parks is actually enforcing this means some people were showing up that early or late to play a game. Should Seattle Parks stock up on OWL paddles and try to hand them out? Do we need to spread the word?
I mean, I feel like we could invest our money in better ways and just tell people to wait until 7 a.m.
Or make OWL paddles required for early morning paddle enthusiasts. Maybe we see this before the Seattle City Council. As we talk about noise, it definitely raises the question. Seattle is a very noisy place. We have pickleball, street preachers, constant construction, bars, clubs, people yelling. Are you just signing up for this when you live in a city? Is noise pollution something you should have to accept?
So I grew up in the city and I accept a lot of noise pollution, but I do think that we have rules about this and limits on the noise for a reason. And my old man shakes fists at KUOW thing is that I live next door to a large apartment building and the garbage trucks would come and pick up trash at like 4:30 or 5 in the morning directly under my window, unloading a dumpster. And that is not allowed. They're not supposed to start till 7 a.m. And I got in contact, someone else who had this problem, passed on the information, and they've done a great job since. They wait until 7 a.m., which is a totally reasonable time.
The Tomky effect.
So I actually like,
right?
there's I love the noise of a garbage truck.
Stop it.
I swear to God, every Friday I wake up to it because it comes pretty early,
Yeah.
like, around 6 o'clock or something like that. It is the one noise that I absolutely love. You know why?
Why?
Because I know that if the trash is getting picked up, we're still okay as a society.
Oh my gosh, Zaki. Well, thank you for setting a bar.
As long as the trash is getting picked up, we're still okay.
I heard Zaki Hamid hates pickleball. I don't want to come out here like the bad guy. I just gotta remind everyone.
Wow, man. I could tell you that I lived above one of those garbage pickup situations every Monday. Friday, I might be a little okay because it has to happen. And if it's Friday, you have an artificially good mood on Friday because it's Friday.
Right.
Monday, that truck would show up. Hitting those dumpsters. Me and my husband, back then we weren't married, it was the worst part of our week. We would just shudder. The pillows, we'd throw them over our head. Oh my gosh. I can identify every single noise that happens in my neighborhood overnight that is normal for my neighborhood. I can hear the guy next door deliver the pastries to the coffee shop. I can hear the garbage trucks rumble.
I mean, I love the sound of a Metro bus because it used to go by our house pretty late at night and early in the morning. And it's like a very comforting noise.
These are familiar sounds. And I think that even if they can be annoying, they are what we live with every day. So you're right. To your point, Zaki. As long as the trash is getting picked up, the world is still moving. I mean, the world is still moving out there.
But it could get picked up at 7 a.m.
Okay, keeping with our Mariners theme today, the Seattle Mariners won 10 straight games thanks to some sound fundamentals and maybe a little bit of magic. They lost Wednesday night, maybe honestly because we jinxed them by talking about this, but 10 wins is tied for the third longest win streak in team history. The Mariners were struggling massively earlier this month on a losing streak until someone posted on social media they had paid an Etsy witch to the Mariners. In case you don't know what an Etsy witch is, it's someone you can pay to perform any spell of any kind. Some people do romance spells or healing spells. Since the day this fan supposedly paid Etsy witch spell by Luna, the Mariners have been nearly unbeatable. Do we believe in the power of the Etsy witch?
I have heard that in her confirmation letter, Luna said that we need to stay positive and accept the manifestation of the spell. And so you will not catch me doing anything but that.
All right. I defer to another sports fan here.
Okay. I've been talking about this with our wonderful producer, Vaughn Jones. And
another sports fan.
Yeah. And I said
Correspondent.
that I was really hesitant to say this, but I'm going to call it. We're winning the World Series.
Stop it. Now you're in the room with a Murphy. Yeah, I'm sorry to everybody.
Mariners are going to be world champs this year.
Whoa!
There we go. Book it. Bookmark this podcast.
I had a minor panic earlier this week, and I told my husband, I was like, oh no, I think that's hope. We can't be having this.
You got to believe, Naomi. You got to believe.
Oh my gosh. Should more people be getting in on this? What spell would you cast for yourself? I'm going to cast a spell for you, Zeki, that you just didn't jinx the Mariners there. That's my spell. Oh my.
Unfortunately, Luna appears to have taken her services offline, is my understanding. I hope that she stays safe, but if she returns to internet witchery, I do have an industry, journalism, that could really use a little magic these days.
Yes, agree. The Mariners themselves seem to have acknowledged the assist after a dominant 18-2 victory last weekend. They posted the final score on social media with the caption, "Shout out to the Etsy witch." Mariners broadcasters have made references to it, and sports journalists are talking about it. It has to be true. It has to be true. This team has Etsy witch fever. Magical forces may not be the only thing at play here, though. Mariners superstar Cal Raleigh shaved his face into a new mustache. There's reportedly a magic bag of Cheetos that the play-by-play commentators had in the booth for a whole streak.
Oh.
Where do you stand on sports superstitions, Zeki? Do you think these sorts of rituals make a difference?
You know, I want to say no, that I don't believe in any of it, but the last 4 Sounders games that I went to, I wore the same exact outfit.
Maybe a little?
You know, maybe a little, maybe subconsciously. I mean, I even changed. I wore this I have, 5 or 6 jerseys, and I was like, and I just picked one. I'm like, oh no, I got to wear the same one again, You don't
want to break the streak. Okay.
So, yeah.
Clearly you don't believe because you did say that Mariners thing. But what do you think, Naomi?
I mean, my understanding is that the mustache isn't where Cal Raleigh keeps his magic.
Oh, the big dumper.
But the ritual, the superstitions make things fun. I like it. You know? What else are we doing with our time?
Well, the Mariners are somewhat defined by superstition. As Seattle Sports 710 points out, the Mariners' original inverted trident logo is a sign of bad luck in Greek mythology, so the owner at the time changed it. That was 1987. Before we move on to our next topic, are they going to ride the witch's broom to the World Series, Zeki?
I think we're all going to be on witches' brooms by the World Series.
Okay.
We'll be coming into work like that, on the bus, you name it.
All right. Moving on to our next topic. We spent some time last week talking about how integral grocery stores are to their communities. We love our grocery stores, but just like family, they're not perfect. And in Seattle, that usually starts in the parking lot. Naomi, you spent some time over the summer categorizing the 5 worst Seattle grocery store parking lots among quite a few other grocery-related stores for Seattle Met. Let's talk about methodology. What were your criteria? What makes a bad parking lot?
I say in the introduction to the piece that this is completely subjective.
Sure.
So there's not a lot of methodology. It's pretty vibes-based.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, I mostly just sort of thought through. I love grocery shopping. When I'm in a different neighborhood, I always want to check out a new store, check out a different place to buy stuff. And if pulling into that parking lot gives me a feeling of dread, then it went on the list. But I did think about safety. You know, if you're a pedestrian, whether walking from your car to the store or walking up to the store, how safe do you feel? And then also just the ease of parking. How big are the spots? What direction? Is it crowded? Are you waiting for spots a lot? Or waiting to pull out because it's impossible to get out of it? That sort of thing.
Yeah, I think you can always tell when a parking lot was built by the size of the parking spots.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like in the 80s parking lots, very narrow.
It's actually not only when it was built.
Say more.
It is an actual thing. So I used to work at Metropolitan Market, and it was an actual thing that we did, was to assess the parking lots and decide how big of spaces we could put in and what direction would people be able to pull out and where they are going.
Wow. So some of this is intentional, and these parking lots are intentionally this bad. Zeki, does a bad parking lot change your grocery routine? If you pull up to your usual spot and see chaos, do you live through it or you go somewhere else?
Well, it depends. I mean, I go to Costco a lot and it's always kind of chaos. But what I do is I don't mind walking. So I park really far away. And I was like, you will never, ever catch me waiting for somebody to pull out so I can pull in just because it's close. You will never see me do that. I will walk a whole long time to avoid that. But I used to live in New York. I mean, so any grocery store or any parking lot is better than what I'm used to. So this is all fantastic for me. But if I can walk, I will walk rather than drive. And luckily I can with the grocery store next to my house.
That's nice. I have left Costco and Trader Joe's. Sometimes if I can get by, I will bail. And because I can also walk to a grocery store in my neighborhood in a pinch, so I'm less inclined to deal with the hassle. I am crowd averse. I think that's true. All right, well, from bad to worse, Naomi, you decided on the Whole Foods in Roosevelt, PCC in Columbia City, the Safeway in Wedgwood, the Met Market on Crown Hill, and the number one spot, unsurprisingly, the Capitol Hill Trader Joe's. I concur with your list. I think the grocery outlet on Crown Hill also has a pretty crummy parking lot.
It has the same problems as the Met Market on Crown Hill, which is that you can't go some directions from it.
That's it. You're locked in.
And one of those directions is the one to my house.
Out is usually the one I have the problem with. Exactly. And like we mentioned, you don't have to drive somewhere to go grocery shopping, although it is pretty convenient. It's easier to stay on your task, though, if you're not throwing it in the car. It's easy to make impulse purchases if you're not walking with the bags. What is the solution here, though? Do we have to move within walking distance of a grocery store, or just learn to be comfortable with your groceries taking up space on the bus or hoofing it back to your house?
Delivery.
Oh, delivery. Right. Of course. There is a way. All right, moving on. One last thing before we go. You have heard of popping champagne, but what about exploding Prosecco? Costco is recalling bottles of store-brand Prosecco because they could shatter without warning. They say the unopened bottles can shatter even when they're not being handled or in use. Before you throw away your celebratory stash, these bottles were not sold here in Washington. So there is no recall here in Washington. But pop quiz, do you have a bottle of Costco Prosecco in your house right now? Are you ready for the impromptu toast?
There's definitely some bottles of Prosecco and champagne. They might be Costco. Who knows?
I do have a bottle of I think it is Prosecco from Costco in my refrigerator, but I am such a dork this way. I'm like, oh no, we'll save it for a special occasion. I think it's been in there for 2 years. Yeah. I don't drink.
I had a bottle one time years ago that I bought a bottle of Prosecco or champagne or something like that. Anyway, so I, for some reason, I recorked it and put it in the fridge. So
Zaki.
of course, I'm not like a champagne drinker.
Yeah.
So of course, the cork exploded and broke some glass jars and stuff like that in the fridge, and that was it for me.
Opening Prosecco is a journey in itself. There's always that one moment where you're trying to pop it open. You're worried you're going to take someone's eye out. I generally will start the process of opening the bottle and pass it off to somebody else because I get too anxious. Do you have that cork popping anxiety?
I've been taught by my parents, and then I worked in restaurants on how to do it. And the number one rule is that you don't point it at any humans.
Unless you don't like them.
What's the one with the sword?
The sabering.
Yes. So sabering.
I am not a physics person, but it is all a physics thing. And when someone explains to you how to do it, it's very simple and easy and amazing.
Isn't
and fun.
To see? Have you seen that, Zeki? Have you seen people take the top off?
Yeah,
with
I've seen
sword?
like videos, never in person.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
it's
super
very
fun.
easy to do. I highly recommend. Just
apparently
shits and
it
giggles.
is easy to do. I've watched videos of people.
You have to have it at a certain angle, I take it.
Yeah, you have it at a certain angle and you do it. It's like right along the seam.
Okay.
Like if you look on the bottle, there's a seam, and then all you have to do is and it pops
Amazing,
right off. It's
amazing.
So cool.
Well, Costco says you should wrap the bottle in a paper towel, then put it in a plastic bag, and that should be enough to protect your trash. Again, this is anybody out of state from Washington who may have bought one of these. Does that feel like enough? Will waste management people be okay with potentially picking up explosive bottles of Prosecco?
Open it, dump it, recycle.
Open it, drink it.
Yeah, drink
That's
it.
right.
Yeah, that's right.
Celebrate, get rid of that. All right, we're going to leave it there. Naomi Tomky is Seattle Mets food and drink editor. Zaki Hamid is KUOW's Director of Community Engagement. Thanks, Zaki.
Thank you, Trish.
Thanks, Naomi.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate you listening to Seattle Now. Today's episode was produced by Vaughn Jones. It was edited by Andy Hurst. Our production team also includes Caroline Chamberlain Gomez, Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers, and Paige Browning. Greg Kramer does our theme music. Seattle Now and KUOW Public Radio are members of the NPR network. I'm Patricia Murphy. See you soon.